Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Learning Wednesday teleclass today. This is Caroline Gikonyo, and I'm really excited to be here because we have somebody joining us who I've followed for so many years, and I was very happy with this opening to be able to finally connect with him directly. I'm also excited about what you're going to learn because it's all about becoming a coach and, just the steps that you can take and what goes on beyond certification. And before we begin, just remember that you can put in your comments or your question, or even share your thoughts or any ahas or experiences that you have. You can do all that in the chat. So joining us today is an amazing visionary. And as I said, somebody I've followed for years, and he's been helping individuals and organizations all achieve their highest potential. And he also trains and mentors coaches. And being a coach, that is where my heart is. So he does the training and mentoring through Destiny Life Coaching, which is an accredited coach training school. And there's a lot I could say about Jeff, having followed him, especially on LinkedIn for some time. So let me just stop there and welcome our expert, Jeff Ndiwa, to talk to us and share with us what he has prepared. Karibu sana, Jeff.
Thank you so much, Carol. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for the invitation. Such meetings where I get to meet people, especially people with passion. People feel they have something to contribute to the world. I am so excited about that. And we are going to have a great time. I'm so happy to meet also Sarah. I see you there. Celestian Kitonga, I see you. Lily, Francisca, Agnes Osoro, my coach, you're here, and and those others that will join us. And so I'll just begin by sharing my story because great coaching must be experiential, where we experience the journey of growth and transformation. And that has been my testimony all through. I started off working with the church. I was working as a youth minister, helping young people, transition different stages of life, even premarital counseling and so forth and so forth. Then at some point, as a minister, I realized people were missing something. People needed guidance, and I felt I wasn't empowered enough to help these people, and that's how I landed into coaching. And because I love to do things the right way, I gotten certified, and after practicing, Destiny Life Coaching was born. At that time, it's about 15 years ago, that there were not so many coaches, and I found that it was a challenge even to get mentorship from someone who's gone through the journey. And mentoring is different from coaching in that a mentor is someone that has experience, even if it's a little bit more than the mentee. And so a mentor is showing you the way. And so I sort of lacked that when I was starting. And even after the certification, I didn't have the mentorship. And I had to look outside the country to get someone to guide me. And you realize markets are different. Our market here in Kenya, in East Africa for coaching is very different from UK, from the US. People, when you read the history of coaching, they got coaching introduced in early 80s. Okay, so they know what coaching is about. It's a little bit easier for them. So for me, when I was starting, I got people calling me to help their kids as a coach, and their expectations were different from what I could deliver. Okay, so they are looking for a swimming instructor, someone to help, like someone had paid me to help their daughter, as a coach. But then when we were having the conversation, I realized, they are looking for a swimming instructor, because I'm asking where is this happening? Where is the swimming pool? But then after taking her through what I can help the daughter go through, I say, I don't do that. But what I do is I help people really get clarity on what's important in life and make key decisions that position them for success and fulfillment. And she was like, wow, that's even better than swimming when I started with my daughter. And that's how my coaching started, from a place of uncertainty, from a place of fear, because I was transitioning, and I've had so many conversations about transitions. I've helped quite a number of people transition from one career now into coaching, into becoming a certified coach, and then establishing your coaching practice. Because it's not about the certification. It's not just about the certification. It's about getting accredited, yes, but also about the journey of becoming a prosperous coach that gets results. And this is a profession where a lot of patience, that's what I see in my journey. Tells me that for you to be a great coach, you got to be patient with people. You got to be patient with the journey. You got to be patient. This is a profession where you wake up one morning, yesterday you were dead broke, and someone gives you a proposal of 1 million shillings, and you're like, oh my God. And so you're always living in that world of uncertainty, and you got to be strong enough to wait for your breakthrough. Okay, so, and you got to learn, okay, so how do I manage the winter? How do I manage when things are not so good? And how do I manage when there's so much inflow? Like, I get moments where you have so many clients and so many calls in a week. And then I think it will always be like this. No. This especially our market here, people go with seasons. When they have money, they want to change their lives. At the end of the month, from 25, 26, of the month, you are getting so many calls. And if you don't know how to plan yourself and strategize in a way that you can leverage on, these people are calling you this time, and by the 10th, 15th, no one is calling you, you're like, oh my God, did my career end? Where are people? And so I realized you got to be, strong enough, patient enough, and also a bit organized for you to get to that place of becoming a prosperous coach. And so, like I was saying, I've helped quite a number of people transition, and that part of transitioning into the career of your purpose, because most of us, many people I've met, I don't know about you, but many people I've met, you're in this career where, this is what you went to school to do, but you're not quite sure whether this is aligned with your calling. Is this my life mission? Or is this just something that I'm doing because I like it, or because my parents like it? Part of the conversations I like with people, whether they want to become coaches or not, is the conversation of purpose and aligning life. And I've met people that feel it's a little bit too late. I met someone who's now become a friend of mine, and 56-year-old guy, and he was feeling, okay, so if I've not gotten it now, I'll not get it. This is management. So you just accept that, living a life of just managing things to the end of the journey. And I took him through the 4 steps of finding your purpose. So we've got 4 steps, just 4 questions to find your purpose. And he was able to do this in less than 5 minutes. He was clear, but he was also mad at me. He was mad at me that He's taken so long to find purpose. His mind was telling him that this has to be something hard. And if it's too easy to find, then it's not real. Now, up to today, the guy is still living the purpose we found in for less than 5 minutes, and so fulfilled. And the distinction he made during our conversation together is that you can actually achieve, massively achieve, and not really be deeply fulfilled in your heart. And for me, there's nothing that is, especially when you're going to your 40s, you're going to your 50s, contribution, fulfillment, making your mark becomes such a high human need. It becomes such a high source of certainty. Like, I really want to make a mark on the planet. My mark, not my parents' mark. And so now you begin to ask these questions. Am I aligned? Is this in alignment with my highest calling on the planet? And so that's a crucial conversation we usually have. And it's something that is really, I'm really passionate about. Purpose-driven lives. And once you're clear on your purpose, I realize another challenge. You can be clear on your purpose, and then you still have these deep-rooted roots of patterns and stories that you tell yourself that will stop you from living that purpose. That's another challenge that I have. And another journey I work with my clients and my students is to uproot the limiting stories that we tell ourselves. I wrote a book called Get Past Your Limiting Story. And in this book, I share the journey and the process of going, challenging these beliefs, getting awareness of the beliefs, challenging them, and then creating a new story, one that is aligned with your purpose. And so purpose becomes so key and crucial, especially when we are establishing a coaching business. And thank God, most of us have had the journey of being in a career. Maybe you've been a doctor, you've been a lawyer, you've been a teacher, you've been a minister, a pastor somewhere. You've had a job. And maybe some of you may wonder, can a pastor be a pastor without a purpose? No, we've been there. And I can share so many stories and interventions we've made with men of God who are passionately really preaching and making an impact, but it's not their deepest calling in life. And some of these questions, when you are clear, you're like, okay, so this, or it was a seasonal assignment, which is something else. You may have a seasonal assignment, like this is for a season, and then your season is over. You begin to get drained. There's no drive because nothing is pulling you forward. Your work here is over, and that's how people you begin another assignment, or start to find an assignment of fighting someone within the organization because you're wondering what's wrong with me or what's wrong with my environment. But it's because this season is over, and you need to know that you're getting to another season. And I've seen those. And so we have this conversation on purpose, and then we have conversations on patterns, breaking these limiting patterns. Some of us, we in the process of growing up, of course, we bought into the conditioning of our environment. And for most of humanity, of course, none of us grew up in the perfect family. I've coached quite a number of people. I've never met anyone who grew up in the perfect parenting, in the perfect family. Not even one. I've not yet. Maybe in this meeting I will, but I've never met a single person that was raised up in the perfect family. And so these judgments, beliefs, patterns are deeply ingrained in us, and I call it the world within. This is where people win or lose. So you find someone is brilliant out there, you give them a project to just deliver results, but this person is not happy inside. They are not fulfilled. And this is Jim Rohn, the master coach. He used to tell people there are enemies within you that can choke your destiny. The enemy of fear, of caution, perfectionism. Things have to align a certain way for you to make a decision. So you always take long in a season when you're supposed to be elsewhere. And these fears, because all those are just cousins of fear. The great author Marianne Williamson said that there are only two emotions, love and fear. And at any moment, including this one right here, you're either driven by love or fear. Any decision you make is based off those two key decisions. But then our upbringing, why we have these patterns conversation, is because our upbringing, there's so much limitations. Our parents were not parented, so they parented us towards fear. And so even when I tell you, okay, Coach Caroline, now you're empowered, go start your coaching practice. Guess who will raise against you? It's not enemies outside there. There are enemies within you. And someone rightly said, if there are no enemies within you, there is no enemy out there that can conquer you. No one can stop you. No enemy out there can stop you. And all we need to actually work past is the enemies within, those stories within us. And so because of these patterns, what happens to a certified coach who wants to get started? They are ready to start. They've been certified, accredited well, and now they are ready to start. Then the stories awaken. Then the stories, in that moment of opportunity, you either shine or the stories just take over. And they tell you, don't go for that meeting. Cancel that meeting. Don't go, don't shine. Don't do that YouTube channel. Delete your Facebook account. Is because these stories within you is what we call the familiar. It's the familiar ground of your mindset. And you got to go to make growth, progress, love instead of fear, familiar. Because most of us, we are conditioned, fear is familiar. And so what I see is, so that anxiety and all that within us attracts more of that, and you realize you're taking longer to progress, to break through. How did Jeff do, the Destiny Life Coaching thing and breakthrough with Jeff and all this? I got to such a broke point. I remember one Sunday afternoon where I'd gone through such a downturn. I'm coming from a stable career. I had, my home paid for, my kids' fees paid for. I had a car, and now you're out there to, first of all, a career that no one knows. They're calling you a swimming instructor. And number two, you don't have a mentor, which is something I encourage all coaches. If you are a coach, please get someone to mentor you. Work with someone, even if it's not someone that even if it's someone that is starting, just get someone to work with you. That is so crucial. I found that to be so crucial. So this one Sunday afternoon, I come from church, and I realized we are so broke. My family, no, even food is a struggle. You're budgeting like you're in war. It's like, man, you're under attack. You're in battle. I remember that Sunday afternoon, I locked myself in my bedroom, and this is crucial for a coach. Someone says, I feel to burst open, and okay. revealed all about you. I know we've been there. This is most people, we don't tell the stories, but most of us, we've been there. I locked my bedroom and I looked at the mirror. One thing I realized most of the people I'm meeting are leaders. They are light carriers. These are people that have been placed here for a purpose. But some of these things that stop giants, I tell you, people, I hear their story. You sit with someone and you're like, oh my God, why are you not the most sought after speaker and coach? People don't know you. How? Because there's so much, but because of the fears, because of all this, what had taken me to that place, that broke place, where I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, this is not going to be my destiny. And you know, there are times I make decisions and there are times I make decisions. Like when I make a decision from that place of, here I'm at the edge, is either I fly, is either this is the end or it's not going to continue like this. And you realize something was pushing you to the end for you to discover you had wings to fly. And that was my breakthrough. That moment is in my books. I write about it. The moment of my breakthrough is the awareness that I'm not where God had called me to be. That awareness, and there's an awareness someone can tell you and you get into an awareness. There's an awareness God and life takes you to a place where there's no class, no coaching class can get you there. And that happens when you're open. It also happens when you're vulnerable. And I realized vulnerability is power. The things I was afraid, like sharing my story, became my power. From that moment, I remember, by the way, decisions are very spiritual, let me tell you. Because truthfully speaking, on that Sunday, when I made this decision, I got a call on Monday when I decided, no, something must happen. I don't know what it is, but I'm not made for this. You know, Tony Robbins says a decision is a different from a wish. A decision means to cut off every other option. So for me, I had one option. The option was success, fulfillment, abundance. I say no. First, I cannot sit here and see my family suffer. I cannot do that. I just felt no. Another thing, I believe I had something to give that many people don't have. And at that moment, I began to believe in myself. I believe it's a feeling of certainty. Is you feel you're sure. I believe in us, you know, it's something you just feel so convicted. I believe it. I got my conviction before, you know, after the 3 hours of locking myself in that room. And I remember I didn't even want to talk to people. You know, I was in a very meditative space that evening and went to sleep. In the morning, I got a call that this person had, I left ministry and that I'm doing coaching. There's a very senior government official that is looking for a coach, and they want a coach who is also aligned biblically. That's why they have not chosen other coaches, they just want you. Wow. I say, okay, you said who? This is a senior guy, is really senior. And even for you to get to him is a miracle, but this is what he wants, been told about you and wants to see you. So I say, yes, of course, in that situation, I've had a moment of breakthrough. There is no saying no. I said yes. And on Monday, I'm going to see this guy, go to his office, red carpet, and it's on first floor. I had to go up the stairs. So I went up the stairs because I was taking more time to gather my confidence. I don't know whether you're told, oh, Jeff, you can use the lift. I'm like, no, health matters. But here I'm gathering my confidence. And I went up the stairs, and every staircase, I'm telling you, spoke to me, telling me of my unworthiness, how I don't even deserve to be here. I didn't even have a car at the moment. I looked at my shoes, they are dusty. You're doing the Kiwi advertisement thing, just rubbing them off your socks. But there's another voice that told me you have something he doesn't have. That's why he's looking for you. This is someone who is a professor. They have PhD. They have everything. They have money. They have the name. You watch them in the news. Deep breath, up the stairs to the red carpet introduction. And I gave him 45 minutes. I made another decision. I decided I'm going to serve this guy from my heart. It's not about what I know, because this guy knows everything. It is about leadership change, organizational change, culture change, and there's no presentation that will impress this guy. I took him through fulfillment. I told him, understand where you are and tell me if I'm wrong. I talked about success, and he told me, Jeff, that's how I feel, but I feel there's something missing. I'm like, right there, that missing element, fulfillment. I told him, this is what I can take you through. Through fulfillment, we can look at your impact in terms of the legacy you want to leave, but this time from a place of purpose. And we can, I'll give you a tool, it's a purpose discovery tool, where we can start from there. And then we can evaluate your success and see which one you want to continue from that place of purpose. And he looked at me and said, oh, Jeff, that's genius. I'm like, wow, okay. My heart is beating, but I'm sharing. I'm still serving. At the end of 45 minutes, I took him, through the process, the way you meet a client, you want to know, why are you here and what do you want? What's your pain? So his pain, I dug into his pain. The pain was fulfillment. I shared my story. I was very open. There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to fear, because I didn't know what decision he's going to make. And that's a place of power. When you have nothing to lose, it's a very powerful place. And so I shared with this guy. I was very open, and, my journey of finding myself, finding my fulfillment, and he bought into the coaching. At the end, he asked me the question, okay, Jeff, we can start next week on Tuesday. How much? Now, how much? This is like one of my first clients. Initially, I was charging only, a session, 3,000. How am I going? What am I going? Do I say 3,000? And then the guy thinks, you're not that good. Again, the voice of fear speaking to me over and over again. I just took a deep breath and I said, 120, I'll be able to help you. Then I kept quiet. I let him say the rest of, he said no, because there was no one to mentor me and tell me, Jeff, you should charge this much. I had to find the market and see, okay, how much should I charge my client? Told me, okay, Jeff. So Caro, the assistant, was actually, the name was Caro. Call for me, Caro. And the check was there, and he's writing the check. I didn't want to say anything. That sometimes you just want to manage yourself. Like, just keep quiet. Keep quiet. I just held my breath. After I told him how much, I just kept quiet. And this is something I train my coaches. I tell them, once you say how much you charge, let them do the job. Let them do the job inside of them, in their head or whatever, if they are negotiating or whatever. So I said 120, the checkbook was there. I wrote the check for me, signed it, and I wanted to move as fast as possible because we are done. First of all, I want to go home and celebrate. And have you ever come back home with confidence? I was so confident. My wife just knew I had a breakthrough. And that was the beginning of getting high-end clients. And I began to get clients that would pay me good money to help them. Now, those were 12 sessions. For those who are 120 for how long? Those are 12 sessions that would run for 3 months. Remember, we created the curriculum with him, and that's another thing. I realized powerful coaching is the one that is guided by needs of the client, not guided by what you know. And this is what I train my coaches. I train them to be guided by the needs of the client. Don't take into the session all these philosophies, psychology that you know. That should be a tool that you use, but your focus should be on the client and their needs. And that's why it took 45 minutes to understand his needs for fulfillment, because I can't even teach anything in terms of success and achievement. Achievement is a science, but fulfillment is an art. Is a harder thing. Is harder than achievement, because achievement is 1 + 1. If you do what I did, you get the results I got. Yeah. So from there, I can tell you, I have never looked back. I've gone into the temptation of feeling inadequate and feeling fearful. But I realize there's a pattern. Every time I'm afraid, I don't have as much results, especially when I'm afraid that I'll not have enough clients, I'll not have the money I need every month, or, for my dreams and my investments and all this, I'll not have the money I've planned to have. That fear always comes to pass. And I realized this is so powerful. If I can create that, then I can create something else. And I began to study the energy and how the way your inner world is, that's the way you're manifesting the outer world. And I began to study also the backing of scripture on that, and it's amazing. There is so much, even in scripture, that supports the direction of going within you to sort out that inner world and seek that first. There's a spiritual law that says that, it's called the law of first things. There are things you put before others and just mess up everything. And so I learned every time I'm in that place of flow, peace. It's such a powerful place. It's such a powerful place. Even the conversations you have with your clients, when you go for these corporate meetings, you're not serving to prove a point. You're serving from a place of being in your purpose. And when you serve from that place, you actually heal people without even knowing. You touch people. And so I'm a very curious student of life. So I keep on learning and taking notes. If you come to my home, I have an office that is full of notes. Like, I write notes. I have cabinets full of notes that I write. So I began to do my research on this stuff and why smart people who have the skills and have the resources don't get or create the life they want. And someone else that intellectually, I'm talking about IQ, they're average like Jeff, but there are movers and shakers. There's nothing that can stop that person. Which one would you like to be? Well, I like to be someone that makes an impact. I don't want to pride myself in intelligence, IQ that does not create results. Then I realize a pattern that when you're starting something, there is patterns of fear. And one pattern is that some people fight and never at that place of peace, that place of power. So you're fighting, especially if you're starting something that is totally new. Coaching is new for most people. And so you start from struggle, fighting, and saying, oh, and you can listen to their conversation, talking about what has not happened and how things are bad, how the market is, and that you can listen to that and just tell where the person is going. And so fighting is one of the patterns. What do you do when things are tough, when you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel? Do you fight? Another pattern that I saw was some people freeze. They realize, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to go forward. I don't know which even coaching tool to apply. So I just freeze. And some people freeze for a long time. There are coaches who train with me and then they don't practice. They're in a freeze mood for 2 years, 3 years, freeze. Someone just called me this morning and told me, Jeff, I'm sorry. I'm like, why you apologize? They say, I didn't apply what you taught me. I think the last 2 years was just frozen. I was in a frozen state. And I'm like, that's so common pattern. So there are people who fight because, they're action-driven people, they fight. And there are people that freeze and they say, okay, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe this is not for me. Why even fight? So they feel they're doing something better than fighting, just freeze. Okay. And then the third pattern I've seen is flee. Those who run away, they go back to fishing. Peter, okay, where are you? 5 years down the line, I call my coaches, where are you? I went back. I went back to fishing. I went back to accounts. I went back to, HR. I went back to this. I just want to get money. You see, so that you get to that place I got on Sunday afternoon, because at that place, let me tell you, even my wife was telling me we need to do something. Do you think so-and-so can help you? There's some job you can do. I'm telling you. And I saw that, and I saw, Hashi's doing it from a place of love. You're trying to do everything we could at this moment. So any suggestion work. And this is where people go back. They flee and they leave the coaching and just say, no, this is not the time for me. The last pattern, which I find interesting and something that I practice, is flow. So instead of fighting or flee or freeze, you can flow. And flow means you have a certain very unique belief guiding you. And this belief is everything is happening for me and is happening to serve me. And sometimes I face things that look like they are going to crush me entirely. I just feel this is the end of me. But then when I am patient enough and believe that everything is working for my good, evil things end up working for my good. Let me tell you, this is knowledge I want to pass to my kids. And this is what I want to pass, because I realize there's so much value in believing that everything is working out for me. Everything is working out. Now, knowing that is different from believing that, because believing that means you get into a certain emotional and mental state. And it's the state of expectation, openness, and that is how you become a magnet to the right client. Because not everyone, you are not Jesus Christ Jr. You are not here to impact everyone. And that's one way of failure in the coaching world, is to be a coach for all, for everyone. And you don't find a specific niche market that cuts out, a market that is favors your personality and favors your calling and your mission. You got to find that market. That's 50% of success. Because no matter how hard you're marketing, if you're marketing to the wrong client, even if they come before you, they will backfire. And sometimes you get the wrong clients, and you have to have the wisdom, the patience to just say, can I refer you to someone? And that's why we give the free consultation session, is to know, okay, can I make an impact in your life? Is there a way I can make an impact in your life? And so flow dictates that you trust. Flow dictates that you allow yourself to be vulnerable and to work with what is being thrown to you, because those lemons could be the raw materials you need. And so when you're in flow, there's no fear. When you're in flow, there's no hiding. When you're in flow, there is inspiration. Actions are coming from inspiration. All right. So this I'm sharing with you, some of the deepest lessons I've learned. All I can see, there's quite a number of questions here, and allow me to address them as they come. There's a question serving from a place of purpose. That's my one thing. Thank you so much, Marlene. I see you. Then there's someone who is saying, my breakthrough is only where life and God can take me. That's where I want to be. I love that. Drop the figure and keep quiet. Yes, do that with your clients. I see you. My tutor used to remind me, let me see. My tutor used to remind us, the president, to serve him in your capacity. Even if you're called by president to serve in your capacity, hold your head high and remember that even though he's the president, you are the professional. I love that. Thank you so much. Wow. This is so me. Okay, thank you so much. There's a question here. I'm looking at the question. The question is, good to know I am not the only note taker with more notebooks than books. I know that. I know. Thank you, Coach. How important, okay, the question is here. How important is coach training and accreditation? And should someone start coaching without being trained? Now, each journey is different. I've told you my journey. I was very keen with certification. At some point, there are organizations that will not work with you, especially in Africa, without accreditation. Some few months ago, I spent 2 months in Tanzania, where I was doing corporate training for 5 companies. And every time I do a presentation, another company comes in, and I was supposed to go for 1 week. I was actually there for 2 months. The first thing they ask me is actually certification, is accreditation. They don't care how good you are. So accreditation is good. You may get opportunities that require accreditation, but even after you are accredited, you want to align yourself, winning within. Maybe I should write a book called Winning Within, because I'm so passionate about this. So accreditation is crucial for your credibility. I talked to someone, a friend of mine who is a media personality, and I asked them, okay, so how do you decide who to invite? So we want to invite credible people. And of course, he told me one thing is that makes you credible is you're an author. You're credible. I'm like, okay. So even writing a book makes you credible. There are things that makes you credible. And the culture is very important. The culture you are in, where you're doing your coaching. Like here in Africa, in East Africa, papers are so crucial. Alignment is important. Even Jesus had to align with where he was coming. He could not just, stand somewhere and say, you got to go to the people and incarnate, become what the market is asking, just, so they can know what is within you. So some people will never know what's within you because you're not able to connect. Connection is very important in coaching. So when you serve from connection, you're willing to go to the level of the people, know what they need. And some of these things, they are crucial. Certificate. I know there are coaches who talk about there's no need to be certified, especially if God has called you and God has called you to be a coach. Well, that's good, but God is a God of excellence, and coaching and living your mission, God will not give you details and tell you, I expect you to be exceptional and excellent, so please do whatever it is to be at your best. That has to be you making a decision that I'm going to serve God. I'm going to serve my purpose from the highest level. So whatever I need, and certification is part of it. Just that credibility. Now, another thing about certification is the after accreditation. When you get into circles of other certified coaches, for me, I do retreats with coaches. I invite them for retreats. You can come for my retreats as a certified coach. And once these people come together, they're also able to empower others. So if you're accredited under the International Coaches Register, we have a Kenya chapter that I'm honored to be the current president, where we can meet and once in a while empower each other. And we also have all these conferences where we can continue to grow, because the end is not the certification. The certification is not an end into itself. It's the beginning of the journey. And who you walk this journey with also, matters. You can start, can I start coaching? Should someone start coaching without being trained? It's a decision you can make. Some people are doing that. Yeah, waking up one morning, brand yourself as a relationship coach, and tomorrow you're getting clients. Now, the thing is, if you get into an issue, let's say something happens, they take a decision and they take you to court. The first thing those guys will pin you down for, and I know there could be lawyers here, who accredited you even to do that job? Who is the accredited? Because things happen. Things happen. You can meet all these people that are in a different state of mind. They take decisions and blame you. Can you stand and defend yourself and say, yeah, I was in the market because actually I'm accredited coach and I am a trained coach and I'm prepared to help people. And that's how he came for my help, and I helped him. So some of these things are just a part of self-love. Self-love means you also protect yourself. Winnie is saying, wonderful to hear your story, Jeff. I have to leave. Oh, bless you, Winnie. Hope we can connect in another way soon. Okay, let me see if I've left any questions. If there's any questions, I can open this session for any questions. My intention was to share my story, but when you share your story, sometimes there are gaps. And so questions filling the gaps. Let me see, is there any questions on coaching, on walking the journey? Because here we are talking about two things. There is coaching profession, there's the coach, and the journey of, helping other people, because some of us, we help other people and we're in that business and helping people, but we are not getting helped. We are not progressing. Some of these breakthroughs come when people have conversations like this. So let me see, is there any questions before I give it back to Coach Caroline? Are there any queries, any questions? And another thing, as we ask the questions later, after your accreditation, now, if you talk about credibility, so a book can give you credibility, accreditation can give you credibility. There are courses. Now, you may get some money and you want to advance your skills as a coach. There are courses that I advise my coaches who've been certified and they want to advance. Do something in education. Like, I know one of my coaches now is doing masters in leadership education, focusing on education. It's a very good course for coaches, because you're going to learn group facilitation and how to help corporates. That's another course you can do after your certification to advance your coaching. Because sometimes, like I remember getting this job from an NGO, and the money was really good. It's the kind of money that makes you smile, and in dollars. And they required that the trainers, all of them, to have masters. And so not everyone in my team had masters. So that's, you have to outsource and get people with masters in education. Masters in education. And then that was repeated again. They required masters in education again. Like, okay. So this is something I can advise my students. After you are accredited, if you get an opportunity and you have the money, go for masters in education. Because we are educating people, and it gives you more credibility. Put it in your bucket list. Even if you're going to do it in the next 10 years, it's okay. Pole. You just find yourself there. All right, let me finish. Let me end there, unless there are questions. Isabella, I say, Jeff, I joined late. I like to be trained. Are there online classes, and how long? Yes, we actually, Destiny Life Coaching offers an online training program. We are starting a class on Wednesday. And this class runs for 3 months. We meet on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. to 7:30. We are on Zoom. The way the class runs is I do a presentation. Let's say we are doing a skill presentation. So I do the presentation, and then I send you to breakout room with a client, one of the fellow coaches. You practice with them for 15 minutes. They give you feedback. You come back to the bigger Zoom meeting, and we can hear different lessons people are getting from that practice. And so the class runs for 1 hour and 30 minutes. By 7:30, we are done. And we do have a physical graduation in Nairobi after the 3 months. Okay, so please get my number. You can take my number if you're interested in that class. I'll give you a free consultation session to help you get more clarity, where I can answer your questions. Carol can give you my number. Coach Agnes is asking, do you recommend? Yes, I recommend Pan-Africa Christian University. This is I looked at their what do you call it, Masters in Leadership program. So you can take Masters in Leadership program, Park University, and then you have a choice. You can major in education, or you can major in corporate leadership. Okay, so you have that choice. The beauty of that course is they have a brilliant PhD. Their PhD program is really awesome, and it's hands-on, and it's something you can take slowly. I mean, you can take it. A friend of mine is now doing this for the 8th year. 8 years doing the PhD, because he's only taking small units, whatever he can apply in his work, that's what he takes. So consider that, go and inquire more about them, and they are not that expensive. I think they allow you to pay pole, which is brilliant. Yeah, it's not that high. Okay. I think there's a coach who was asking about the fees, the cost for our training. So the 3 months training, our total fee is 90,000. We've actually been charging this for the longest time. And you can pay in installments, and you can also get a discount if you are referred by someone from this team. You can get a 15,000 discount. Anyone coming from here, we will give you that, and you can pay in installments also. All right, so thank you so much, guys. I'm happy to share this time with you. Oh, there's another question here. After 3 months training, is there? Yes, you are certified. There's a graduation. You're certified as a practitioner of coaching excellence. That means you can coach anyone, anywhere. You can coach groups. You can do whatever kind of coaching you feel inspired to do. And you are also accredited by the International Coaches Register. Now, when you finish your training, ICR expects you to present to them 3 things for your accreditation. Number 1, your training institute. Like you have a certificate that says you trained with D.L.C. and you went through the course, and now you can be accredited. Number 2, testimonial from someone you coached. Now, by the time you're certified, you coach at least 20 people from our team. You do at least 20 sessions within our practice, because our aim is not theory. Theories don't help, it's the practice. So we practice with one another as much as possible. We are practicing. There's a lot of 90%. We aim for 90% practice. Okay. So if you're there, you're interested, please come. I will guide you and will listen to you. Don't let money stop you. Don't make money decisions. I told God, I don't want to make money decisions. I want to make decisions that of purpose. I want this, I go for it. I want this, I go. If I want to do the PhD, I go register and the money will come. But I will not talk myself down and tell myself, oh, Jeff, where will you get that money? It's so much, it's so many units. How will you finish? No, just go for it. Go for it. The Lord will make a way for you. So I'm looking forward to have those conversations with you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Caroline. God bless you. Thank you for inviting me, and looking forward perhaps to meeting some of you in future. Blessings to you. And may your life shine, may your light shine even brighter, and may you know the thing that you've been put here for and follow it fearlessly. Those fears inside of you, may they be silenced, because you deserve to be here and your voice must be heard. Thank you. God bless.
Wow, wow. And there's really nothing I can add to that. And all we can say is amen. And Jeff, you've gone over and above anything we could have expected. I have a lot of notes. So I'm like you, I'm always taking notes. So if we don't have any questions, yeah, so if we don't have any more questions, please put your take home. I know some people have had many take homes they've been sharing in the chat. Let's give Jeff the take homes that we are taking. Let's give Jeff the take homes that we are taking from this presentation. And if anyone has a burning question, you can ask. Anyone with a burning question? Now, remember, you've been given a discount. So if you want to train as a coach, we already have a 15,000 shilling discount and we have a payment plan. And there's a class starting on Wednesday. So say yes. Say yes, and then let the money come. Okay, since we don't have any questions, I think that's a very nice place for us to stop. And that's it for today. Thank you once again, Jeff. We hope that we'll be able to bring you back to talk to us another time. Thank you for taking the time and for sharing your story with us. There's one more thing. You have a book written. Where can we get your book?
Yes, I have several books, and they are at Savelberg Retreat Center. Please, if you're interested, I could give you my assistant's number, and she will have it delivered to you.
Okay. Please share it in the chat, and then we can come and we can buy the books. Savelberg, that's on Moringa Road.
Yes.
Okay.
There are a few copies remaining. We will, yeah, but you can. Oh, sorry, I shared my number. I should share my assistant's number. Just a moment. Pardon me.
No problem. So we all know where to go. And if you're a coach, I think one thing that I've really picked I'll take home is the need to get further education beyond coaching. You know, get the masters, and especially the masters in education, and if possible, take it beyond a master's. So connect with Jeff, check out the website. I've put the link. I've also put the link to his LinkedIn so that you can connect and have discussions beyond today. So thank you all for attending and for staying all this way. And thank you for the active participation in the chat. And that wraps up today's episode of Learning Wednesday. Jeff, we wish you all the best with the school, with coaching, and with your clients too, because you're a blessing. You're a blessing to the world. And we appreciate that you've taken the steps to grow yourself so that you can grow us. So that's it, ladies. We wrap up, and you can find out more about what we do at Biashara 360 on our website, biashara360.com, or you can connect with us on LinkedIn. Still the same, Biashara 360. There's a lot that we have to offer, and we hope to see you in the next Learning Wednesday teleclass. Goodbye and God bless.